Let's take a look at what DAMWON wants to do. As the response, Ornn being hovered.
Ornn Lilia could come out here. Lilia is going to be the one that escapes the ban list. Was in fact banned in both games on the blue side by both teams. Syndra, Camille, Lilia was the choice, but Nidalee feeling like something that DRX didn't want to first pick. Didn't want to trade the Graves with it either. So now Kenyon thinking about whether he wants to take Bambi into the jungle. No.
Kindred.
Oh my goodness, this is a flex. That's it's called taking Pioshik's name in vain.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Well, already a lot of scaling on the side of DAMWON right now. Let's see how DRX is going to try to respond to this one. Vladimir being hovered.
Oh, okay, that's going to be locked in as well. This was a Chovy pick. Doran has, of course, played it as well, but the Vlad being locked away is very interesting. Vlad mid lane hasn't been played in a really long time.
I really wonder if they're going to try to go the route that TES went against DRX. If you recall that game, the final one, but
yep,
that would be a really big blunder because DRX were very favored in that game before just botching a couple of late game team fights. But no, it's not going to be that way. Senna is just going to get picked up here by DRX. Is DAMWON actually going to go for a proper punish onto it now, or are we just going to see the handshake and maybe even just another Aphelios or something?
Yeah, Orianna also available, and Showmaker considering that one for the moment. Going down the tier list as far as mid lane is concerned, Orianna certainly the second cab off the rank. And now DAMWON do have the opportunity of banning away a couple of those picks into the Orianna that Chovy might want to go with. See whether the Galio makes it through here, and whether Chovy actually wants to play it. Because this Vlad, we have to remember, is a little bit of a flex, but I don't know whether they want to take it into Orianna.
The thing here is, against Kindred and Orianna as it is right now, you really need something that beats Kindred and Orianna, which typically you have to try to outrange them. Now, with Vladimir being there, though, I don't know what DRX could really hope to go. Obviously, Ziggs is an option. You can just try to poke it, and then he has a satchel charge, so he's able to sort of jump out of the way of an Ornar. But you're looking for champions of that ballpark to try to come in and do something. The long-range artillery mages or something that can reposition, but I don't know what DRX is actually thinking or anticipating. Galio probably shouldn't come out because there already is Kindred and Ornn on the enemy team. But this is do or die. And Chovy was the Ziggs player, so could see something like that.
Would Ziggs Senna work in the bottom lane with Senna support?
No.
No? Just wouldn't work?
No, Atlas.
I just like talking about flexes, man. It's exciting. Ezreal going to be the final ban here. They're going to leave the Kalista up, if that's where DAMWON would like to go. They're actually holding on to Ghost's pick until last. Wanting to see the whole bottom lane, as that's the Pantheon locked away. Was something that Carrier could have gone towards as well, so a bit of denial there also. Really
good timing for a Taric or something of that nature.
Yep.
There's a lot of trickery against Kindred, very good against Ornn, very good against Pantheon. But no, they're hovering Braum.
Oh, how exciting. Yep. Door versus Shield. See which one is going to come out ahead here, as now DRX going to have to reveal their hand.
Looking for long range artillery.
Is this the Pike mid? Ooh. Is Chovy going to do it? Oh, the Velka! You called this! You called this before the series started! And the Vel'Koz is going to be locked away. Oh my goodness, you have been looking at the World's Playoff script?
Well,
we swore that we weren't going to do that.
We've been talking about the inevitability of the eventual 3 making their way into mid as the next evolution of mid lane. Right now it's mostly Orianna, Azir, Corki were controlling everything for a long time, but the one up to them is Xerath, Vel'Koz, and Ziggs. But no one's really been able to pilot them consistently enough to just make them the mainstream meta, and then once they come in, then very ancient mid laners like Fizz and other things start coming back. But Chovy on Vel'Koz, I mean, that is a 1v9 champion. So
Absolutely.
Let's see if he can actually do it.
This is also a positioning champion as well. So DRX are going to have to continue, like they did in game number 2, to level up that vision game and give the Vel'Koz actual avenues to get himself to objectives. Because if the game's like game number 1, where the map is just dark, the Squiddy's just going to die wherever he tries to slither. So dangerous. Let's see whether it's going to work out. There is so much late game damage on DRX. Like absolutely absurd amounts of late game damage. It's quite an obscene amount of damage. And the thing is that the Chovy's on the champion that's the most important in the entire team composition. And that's where you want him inside of the draft. So if he can get ahead, there's no interaction that DAMWON really have unless they're very far ahead of him, in which case Vel'Koz can't weather the storm. He's just going to get cracked. Yeah. Well, also, Canyon going to be taken to the Rift on his first unique champion outside of Nidalee and Graves. I believe he's been playing just those two throughout the entire tournament thus far. And so trying on Pioshik's hat himself with the Kindred will definitely be interesting. But I think everyone's going to be focused on whether or not the Vel'Koz is going to work out. Because DRX, I mean, if you're gonna make a play, do it now. Otherwise, you're going home.
Yeah. It's definitely do or die for them. We'll see how the early game is going to go. I am very curious how proficient Chovy is at Vel'Koz, because I don't think this is even something that's been popping up in solo queue, which means that all of his practice on it must be inside of scrims unless he has some sort of a secret ID. And this is not a champion that you
Chovy
just
has like 400 accounts, by the way. He is one of those people that likes to be really secretive when it comes to like which accounts. I used to have a friend on Twitter who'd like show me all the accounts that Chovy's been playing, and I stopped checking after like the first 17 accounts or something like that. It was just a little bit ridiculous. So he might have one of those accounts where he's been playing a lot of Vel'Koz. But also, Chovy's champion pool is just very wide and very eclectic at the same time. But here we are onto the Rift. Chovy does have a pretty blingin' Vel'Koz skin as well. I wonder how it Odans. Do you remember that that Spazzy video about Vel'Koz? It came out a very, very long time. Might have even been before you started playing League of Legends, but Vel'Koz has one particular emote that he can spam. Makes him look like he's saying, "Oh, darn." It's just great. Flash out from Doran. He does not want any part of this early game shenanigans. And that's a Vladimir now without a flash. Also, I want to say thank you to so many people that have been trying to inform me that, in fact, 2012 came out in 2009. So my whole world is crumbling around me. You're predicting Vel'Koz's out of nowhere.
Okay.
And then 2012 came out in 2009.
Well, you win some, you lose some.
Well, I've been losing a lot, actually.
I can tell.
Yeah, it's a rough time. Can you take it away?
Yeah, you and DRX have a lot in common.
Oh my god.
Tell you that much.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, that is exactly the state of this series at this point in time. DRX do have to win this game if they want to stay in the series. That's how best of fives work. There's Canyon starting off on his red buff. See where he goes afterwards. It's going to be mirrored starts for both of our junglers. As Chovy does manage to get a bit of damage down there.
And, well,
bit of engagement.
Does get the clear in. And remember, Beryl, he's on his patented Pantheon.
And this is the patented Ashe Pantheon bottom lane as well.
Yeah.
That I believe Team Dynamics played the most of over here in the LCK. Didn't really work out when it was in their hands, but in DAMWON's hands, it was utterly terrifying. Let's see whether that is going to continue to be the case. Of course, Carrier and Deft have been a feared bottom lane throughout 2020. Maybe not so much towards the end, but definitely at the beginning. As Ghost trying to take matters into his own hands here. Sim and Beryl do manage to get that level 2 first. The Q is going to be avoided. Doran's a little bit brittle, but not going to get procced on. As Beryl once again just in for a stun to get some poke down onto Deft, who piercing darkness is his way back to full health. Oh, walk shot. Not going to find the Graves this time.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. but not going to be the end of the world. Canyon now moving on over to his Gromp. We're not getting a lot of mid lane pans here, which is a very interesting matchup depending on how it's going. It looks like Chovy's only used 1 Corrupting Potion so far. Orianna down 1 on the red pot. And the real strength of it in the later stages is going to be that DAMWON doesn't have anyone that can reach the Vel'Koz except for Pantheon. But when Pantheon uses his ultimate, he lands at a designated location, which means that if Chovy times it right, he just instantly knocks Pantheon up.
Yeah. Otherwise, it is going to be the Call of the Forge God from Noguri. But if he's using that just to try and stop a Vel'Koz, then you've got a Vladimir getting into your backline. You've got Graves doing a lot of damage. You've got Senna, who's going to be ripping apart your team. Like, there needs to be about 7 Rams in this game in order to make sure that all of the threats are taken care of.
Yeah.
So, let's see whether Chovy does get the space that he requires. And it's actually out of the DAMWON playbook, because they're a team that does like to play around multiple threats, and they just allow whoever has the most leeway to win a team fight for them. And it's been working out very well for them. And that is largely why they are currently up 2-0 in this series. All right, Canyon pressing W. Cool. Glad we checked in on that one.
And, well, Showmaker doing a pretty good job right now in mid lane. Hold on, big trade though.
The fight down here is Def not going to get stunned up just yet or anything like that. And DRX will limp away, but it is certainly a limp, as Doran not going to throw down his pool just yet, but losing out in these trades at the moment. Not something that Vladimir is too worried about. Of course, you have to remember that he trades with his health bar consistently. He's also able to miss that cannon creep, so I hope that we pan away from this lane, as that was sad.
Well, looks like Noguri is just trying to shove in this wave and go for maybe a reset. No, he's actually building.
Standing there, building a catalyst, no worries.
This surprises me a little bit because he would have had more than enough time to get the reset off and save his teleport. Now, he does have Spellbook, so it's not going to be the end of the world for him. Looks like he wants to shove in this wave because the next wave is cannon, so he'll have even more time, regardless of what Doran would try to do. Doran does reset prematurely, which is a little unfortunate, and now he's losing a lot of HP.
Yeah, goes back, gets himself that Fiendish Codex, so a bit of extra CDR for the Vlad, as Noguri's going to take his opportunity now. So the Vlad's going to be absolutely fine. Both of these top laners just looking to try and scale. We saw the Vladimir, like you were talking about, in the top versus DRX series, the Vladimir came out on top as Canyon, Dance of Arrows, gets himself out of the way of Keria and Pyoshik. It's Chovy just tectonically shifting the minion waves and trying to just farm up slowly but surely on this Vel'Koz. Looks like Showmaker's geometry has been pretty on point, working out where those Qs have been going. And this lane is pretty even.
And the thing here is the bot lane is oh, hold on.
Yeah, Ghost gonna get flashed on here as Pyoshik flashes in as well. They're desperate for this kill as Deft is gonna be able to get that snare, and they do lock down First Blood. In the meantime, DAMWON looks like they're gonna be able to get this Mountain Drake, unless DRX get over here, but no, not quite in time. So opting for the money over the objective, and DRX trying to get themselves in the best early position possible.
And they're able to get away with this because that Mountain Drake was being captured. Beryl not there to really help with anything. Canyon obviously not going to be there either. And at the end of the day, the First Blood onto Pyoshik, it does help alleviate some pressure, but Ashe is so far ahead in the CS department that it doesn't hurt as bad as it should have.
Oh, Q not going to land. And yeah, like you're talking about, definitely not the end of the world or anything like that. And DAMWON have fallen further behind than this in some of their other games. We have seen. Hasn't seemed to amount to much. As, okay, Doran in trouble. He's going to flash to get out of the way. Noguri flashes on top of him. The Ignite is there. Oh! What? Just turns around and boops him. It is going to be a 1-for-1 trade in the end, as the wave looks like it's going to be slowly pushing back towards Doran.
And what an unexpected kind of death.
That looked like a gentleman's agreement. It's like, yes, we shall both go down. I don't know. That was very strange. I like the walking back, taking it as tribute. Maybe that was Doran outplaying him because he knew that, you know, one of them was going to die. He wanted to make sure both of them did, so invited Noguri back into turret range. Very, very strange.
Canyon, I mean, he tries to run top lane and instantly shove in. Oh, Pyoshik.
End of the line comes down. Canyon already at 200 health. There's the ulti. Pyoshik stands off it. He probably wants to get back on there as Lamb's Respite says no. Beryl times the stun beautifully, and Canyon turns it around in his face. And that's going to go right into a Rift Herald as well. DAMWON taking everything.
I don't know what Pyoshik is even thinking there. I mean, he's actually about to attack his most played champion too. You would think that he would understand how the trade pattern would actually end up going. And even though he gets Kindred very low, you see the effect of Lamb's Respite. You know that other people must be coming.
Yeah.
And so, very surprising decision here. Let's take a look at how this all transpires. So, Orin uses his ultimate, gets the knock up onto Vladimir. Ignite was cast a little bit late, and then right here, this was just a spacing game. And Nuguri ends up trading 1-for-1 there onto Doran, which I would say is a pretty good win for Nuguri.
Well, we'll see how it does turn out as this game progresses. Noguri is going to be ahead in farm by just a little bit after he breathes on all of these creeps. And yeah, I mean, it was a 1-for-1. It's okay, but it was just a very weird way for it to eventually pan out. Deft getting a lot of value with that Piercing Darkness as he's now going to go home. Pickaxe now in hand. Taking his time when it comes to stacking up the mana, the Tear of the Goddess. And the Manamune not going to be completed just yet, I believe. Actually has to walk all the way back to his turret. See whether he can afford it on this next one. Good knock up there with the Searing Charge as Doran goes into his pool. Gets a bit of health back there up against Noguri. Crimson Rush. Actually is going to get zoned away, so Doran misses out on that extra spell vamp.
And this game is still just very stable right now. And for a lot of people wondering, well, what is supposed to happen in the Vel'Koz-Orianna matchup? Really, I mean, Chovy is winning right now in the CS department, yes, but the real strength comes later in the game. Once the Vel'Koz starts getting a couple of items, once his base abilities have reached max rank, and then he's able to just be protected in the mid game and constantly unleash a barrage onto the opponents. Yeah,
not to mention all of the CC with the Glacial Augment. Certainly was why Vel'Koz was utilized in the bottom lane as well, largely by DRX actually, as it was something that Deft liked to pick up a couple of years ago. Pyoshik getting on over here, just trying to see whether there's anything to steal away in the jungle. As Noguri does have to be careful here. Graves is on the loose. Now Doran moving past this minion wave. There's the Hemo Plague as Doran is going to find him. Red buff now is going to be there as well. End of the line. Hits once as Noguri going down very, very low, and Doran is going to be able to secure that kill. An unnecessary collateral damage, but a celebratory one.
Yeah. And now, I mean, the response here by DAMWON is to summon Rift Herald in mid lane.
Yeah, life form Disintegration Ray utilized just to get rid of the minion wave.
So they bounce back a little bit. Gold score kept pretty even.
Yeah, it's neck and neck, absolutely. Fun fact, Chovy played 3 Vel'Koz games in 2018 summer. Only went 1 and 2, as 2018 summer was the summer of KT.
Yep.
But it was Griffin's, you know, regular season prowess was definitely up there, even if they did like playing 3-game series. So surprised to see that it is a negative win-loss. As Canyon's going to find Pyoshik yet again. We saw how this one went, and Pyoshik, he is going to respond in kind, getting the heck out of there.
And Canyon with currently the mark set to Chovy, but not going to be able to find that at all in the near future. Ocean Dragon is available for the taking, whoever's going to get it first. Looks like it is being started up by Canyon. He's going to pull it out towards the... It's just not talking about it at this point. I mean,
that is a very disgruntled Ocean Drake right there. He actually just turns around and hits Beryl for... He's like, I'm so frustrated. Can someone hit me? Ooh, Rift Scuttler is going to go to Canyon. I believe that was a mark as well.
And that is a very nice pickup. So they have the Scuttle Crab, vision, and movement speed in the event that a fight would break out here. Now, this is a very good time to fight because Chovy's very low on mana. Hello?
Well, Beryl's dead. So maybe it is a good time for DRX to fight, as now Showmaker in trouble. He's actually going to have to flash as Chovy continues to have control of this lane. 2 plates for the Vel'Koz. Not something I was expecting to say, but he has had a bit of attention from the rest of his team. Now Pyosik is going to get to work on this Ocean Drake now, and we'll have a look at which soul we are going to be blessed with. It is going to be an Infernal once again. No Cloud Souls for the knockout stage just yet here at Worlds 2020.
Definitely continuing to just have very spicy dragons here. And now with Infernal coming up, this is going to make things yet again pretty interesting when it comes to the souls.
Yeah, Kindred with the 4 marks position as well. Definitely a break point. It's half the health bar now on Beryl. Beryl has to be a little bit careful. More careful than he has been.
Yeah.
And, 5 marks? Is that 5 marks now for Canyon?
I believe it might indeed be 5.
Okay.
I wish that we could get an update, obviously, on that one. Meanwhile, top lane, I mean, this is an island. This is definitely a gentleman's agreement up here. No one really doing anything too chaotic. Nuguri is a little bit down in the EXP department, but it's not the end of the world. Canyon's ahead of Pyosik. And meanwhile, in mid lane, I mean, everything's just very hand-shooken pretty much across the board. No one is going for anything super chaotic. The junglers, in all 3 of these games, for the most part, have just been pretty much staying on their side of the map, permanently farming, with very little interaction with one another.
We call that PvE over here in the LCK.
As I did just inform some LEC people on Twitter that Pyosik is indeed the best World of Warcraft jungler.
He is indeed.
In the LCK. He is.
His arena ranking may not be up there, but he's got a lot of purples from them raids. That's all I'm saying.
He's very well prepared for Shadowlands.
All right. Chovy looking for a little bit more here in this mid lane, just wanting to make sure that he can keep this one shoved and give Pyosik and Doran enough space to take down Shirley. We've crested the 15-minute mark. Didn't actually keep my eye on plates as now Carrier looking to try and get out. Piercing Darkness says no to Canyon. But he does have a bit of control here, as you can see Ghost moving down towards the outer turret on the bottom side of the map. No plates to pick up, but they are still looking for that first turret. Try and feed a little bit of gold in. You can see a 30 CS lead for Ghost as well down here bottom side, and a teleport being forced out from Doran actually to keep this tower alive and to keep these teammates still in this one. There's the man drop coming towards the mid lane as Pyosik stays in amongst it. Chovy trying to get himself out of the way. Noguri is going to knock up the Graves, was out of range of the Vel'Koz. There's a disintegration rate. Beryl gets himself out. But you can see Pyosik was not so lucky, and Noguri grabs that kill for himself.
And Noguri Beryl almost dying right there. Nuguri actually behind enemy lines.
He's getting surrounded. There are 4 versus 2 right now. Can the rest of DAMWON actually get in here is the question. They're looking for the stun to land onto Noguri. Seer in charge. Knock up onto 3 as Showmaker gets a 2-man shockwave, and Def just gets obliterated. Now Canyon looking for a little bit more. Carrier gets out of there as Chovy with his Super Soaker, but he's in a water fight, and these guys are using bows and arrows. Still gonna get himself out. Look to replenish all of that mana. In the end, DAMWON actually doing okay in the fight that looked next to lost.
Yeah, that definitely was a lot of quick improvising by DAMWON there to make the best of a pretty bad situation. And they managed to get out. Chovy did go during that, so that is probably why Canyon, I guess, went over the wall. Now Doran on the Vladimir, he's 3-1-0 currently up in top lane. He has the call completed. The gold score still very, very, very close between these two parties. Ooh. Not sure. Ooh.
That's a really nice sidestep there from Doran to start this one up. Proto Belt used as well. Remember, he's still sitting on the pool. This is a very difficult dive. Yeah, they're not going to be able to make it work, especially not without a minion wave. So Vladimir still pretty safe. Still has his flash.
Yeah.
Sanguine Pool's going to be up pretty soon too.
Not totally sure what they were anticipating to happen there. Pyosik is going to get Gromp right there. He's getting tagged a little bit by Ghost. Showmaker here as well. Maybe they can get Pyosik to use his smite and then he won't have it for the dragon, depending on
Okay, Arrow is going to connect here as Chovy tried to disintegrate someone off to the side, but Pyosik is the one in trouble. Ghost, not a lot of mana, but he's got arrows, and he will be able to take them down. It is going to be Chovy falling as well on the fight on the top side. We'll have to check that one out in the replay as Kerry is going to get taken out by Showmaker. And this is all starting to go to hell in a handbasket for DRX.
Wait, did Showmaker summon a blue trinket and Pyosik misclicked onto it?
Not entirely sure.
I think that's what happened.
Well, Doran's trying to save this game right now. Has to flash to get himself out of the way, though, and isn't going to be able to take any kills. Does soften up the members of DAMWON, but that's about all he can claim.
Well, this is definitely going to be pretty interesting because DAMWON should be the ones that manage. Well, actually, no. It does look like they're just going to get the Scuttle Crab for now. Some of the members are recalling. Kindred's at 7 marks, 600 attack range. It's now the very same as Ashe. And no, actually, Pyosik is going to be back here with Deft. They're starting the Infernal. You can see Beryl, he's fishing for maybe a Q with the Execute, but not going to be able to get it.
Well, Canyon's the one going back to base, so not going to see anyone actually contesting for this one. Pyosik going to be able to lock that one down comfortably and quick draw over the wall. Let's have a look at this one more time as Beryl gets comboed, but I mean, the shield's just pretty strong as Chovy is able to actually get the kill and pays for it with his life.
Oh, wow, that was real. So they summoned a Scryer Orb in the path that Pyosik was clicking towards, and he misclicked onto it, stopping the retreat. So Graves locked up during the animation.
That's actually sick, though.
Normally, normally this is something that marksman players can do in later stages of the game.
Shockwave, Doran not able to press his pull button, and that is going to be him taken down. Did do a bit of damage, as you can see, as Ghost now might be in trouble. Beryl comes down. That's an immediate cleanse of the arrow, as Beryl isn't going to be able to find too much damage there with the Q. And just a bit of damage traded back, but DAMWON definitely winning out on that front.
Well, game is definitely having a lot of chaos, and this kind of chaos is what Vel'Koz hates.
Yeah.
Hates the not stable gameplay where action's happening all over the map and he can't really do anything, because one of the things that he's very weak to is very spread out things, 1-3-1s and things of that nature unfolding. And
Pyosik and Carrier, the two rookies of DRX, might be in a bit of trouble here. Glacial Fissure pretty nicely avoided by DAMWON as Deft trying to come over. Dawning Shadow is way too late, though. Good knock-up lands onto the Graves. Deft trying to take matters into his own hands as Canyon down very, very low. Chovy does a lot of damage, but Senna's just by herself. And DAMWON are picking DRX apart.
And DAMWON are just capitalizing on every slight map error that DRX is making inside of this game. And there's not really too much to say. Pyosik and Keria, they are definitely, they're buddies. They run around and just get killed.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like watching a hunter and his pet.
Yeah, or just two pets, I don't know. That was not the greatest of positions to be in for the two youngsters of DRX.
Well, DAMWON, 2.5 minutes until another Infernal is going to be coming up. And Pyosik is just, he's very far behind in this game relative to where he could have been at. Ooh, another arrow.
Yep, it looks like they're going to be able to pick this one up as Carrier does get himself into a safer position, and Beryl's the one now in trouble. Deft grabs that kill. Another disintegration rate gets the flash out of Showmaker. Now Noguri up to the side. Ornhorn not off cooldown just yet, as Shockwave is going to be up, so Showmaker does have an opportunity to turn a fight around, but it is a 4 versus 5, and DRX are continuing to push further forward. Control Ward trying to get control here as Showmaker throws his own ultimate back. Canyon grabs the kill in the end. Hemoblade goes down, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Just Canyon going to be tagged with that one. Another fight in the other front as Noguri looks impossible to damage. Deft getting back into a decent position though, and you can see Showmaker, he dealt with the Vampire, and now Pyosik 1 versus 3. Here's the ram, but it's going to miss. The man drop from Beryl just to close the gap as he flashes on top of Pyosik. And now DAMWON once again turning a fight on its head and now looking for a Baron.
And it looks like they're going to be able to get the Baron. This is going to persist into the Infernal Dragon, so they'll probably pick that one up as well. Ornn might ding 14 off of this, and that means that ornaments are going to start getting ready to be bestowed to his teammates. And yeah, he does ding 14. Let's take a look at this. So this was pretty awkward for Chovy. He didn't know about Showmaker, I don't believe, to the north. And so he was trying to play a little bit of a foot dance there with Canyon, but not quite able to do it. Ends up getting clipped. He goes down, and DRX just being way too overly aggressive in this fight. Nuguri flashes forward to try to speed up the animation, perhaps anticipating that Deft was then going to try to flash in response. And so by flashing forward to make everything come out faster, it could mess with Deft's muscle memory.
Yeah, Deft did actually flash it, so kudos to him there, but still wasn't enough to get anywhere near a victory in that team fight. And Might of the Ruined King, like you were talking about, going to be the first ornament bestowed. And Ghost, I tell you what, he's had a pretty good series. This is a matchup that Ghost has always struggled in the history of the LCK, but summer of 2020 feels like the time of the Ghost.
Oh, it definitely
at Deft's
does.
number.
And you know, this is his month, Alice. It's Halloween.
Hey, that's true.
This is. Ooh, the finals are on Halloween.
Well, DAMWON are there.
Oh man, well they are. Check the script.
No, I told you, I'm not looking at the script. You peeked at it, and you weren't allowed to. As Nuguri is going to use the Bellows Breath pretty nicely there, but still going down relatively low. There's the Glacial Fissure, but that will be avoided by listing lazily to the left. And okay, Doran feels like he might have found something here. Tides of Blood to do a bit of work, but has to use the pull. Actually avoids the arrow with it as the flash out of the Shockwave. But now Showmaker's the one on the attack. Brambleback gets a little bit frustrated, but you can see he's now just chilling. So this 1v1, I don't know whether it's really going to work, as the Crimson Rush comes in eventually. Gets it onto Ghost there. The Tides of Blood coming forward, looking for another Q. Does not get it. In the meantime, Deft is going to be taken down in another skirmish. It's a pretty good ultimate out of Canyon there, and that's going to mean that Pyosik can't make things work. Chovy, can he be to the rescue? Nice knock-up onto Barrel as Canyon looks for it. Carrier taking a lot of damage. One more auto will land, and that will take down the Braum. That's the ace for DAMWON. It looked messy, but in the end, that's a 5-0.
Well, this is going to be DAMWON marching up mid lane, and the game was just constantly scattered without any sense of stability on the side of DRX, and that's what their comp should have been all about, is maintaining control, letting Chovy and Deft carry everything from afar while having Vladimir go the distance, but they were so overeager at every point, and DAMWON happily clapped them.
Exactly right. That's going to be another three-man knock-up from Nuguri. This Nexus very soon to go down, and DAMWON looking absolutely unstoppable in this first quarterfinal. 3-0 as many predicted, but I think the assuredness of this win from DAMWON is going to be striking fear into G2 and Gen G.
Yeah, I think this is a very scary team to go up against, even though the games were very stable, with the third one being the most exception to that rule. DAMWON clearly showed in game number 3 that they're willing to tango if people do want to get aggressive, but at the same time, they're fine to just scale up and then take their opportunistic fights that they were actually so known for in LCK.
Yeah, exactly right. And it is a bit of a sad day as well. I mean, I'm sure DAMWON didn't want to be eliminating another LCK team in their first playoffs match here at Worlds for 2020. But that's just how the cookie crumbles. And unfortunately, if you want to be the best, you have to beat everyone else. So it doesn't really matter. As DRX still need to hold their heads high. I don't think a lot of people had too many high hopes for this team, looking inconsistent towards the end of 2020. Their groups run was much better than I expected personally. Absolutely. And they have 2 young rookies as well who do want to prove themselves here on this world stage. And I think they did in the group stage, even if they couldn't come up against the might of DAMWON successfully the second time of asking.
Yeah, and I think that DRX, they really went the distance this year. They came in with the rookies, like you're mentioning, and they really showed up. Carrier, a lot of people consider to be one of the best supports in the entire world, if not the best from the LCK. Barrel obviously up there as well. They collided here today, and it was a good run.
Yeah.
Obviously not what they were probably hoping for when they rolled DAMWON, but it happens.
Yeah, exactly. You know, sometimes luck's on your side, and it isn't really when it comes to coming up against DAMWON. But let's check out DAMWON's Mercedes drive to victory. This was the skirmish in the river at about 18 minutes into this game. And honestly, it felt like chaos, but DAMWON were just better.
Yeah. No, they were a lot better. This was Pioshik and Keria just randomly deciding that they needed, it was imperative for them to get the blue buff. And they ended up just getting caught and both dying for it. And they did this several times together throughout the course of the game. This really felt like that gif of, is it Childish Gambino when he comes in with the pizza boxes and the house is on fire? That's Chovy.
Yep.
That is, there was no way to stabilize this game so Vel'Koz could do what he was picked to do. And it really just made no sense.
In isolation, actually, Chovy did okay, but I do want to talk about Showmaker. I feel like Showmaker was the one that was really enabled in this series and has finally showed up to the world stage in the way that we want to see him. But, ladies and gentlemen, our Worlds 2020 coverage continues after this as our experts are ready to tell you more about DAMWON.